Well, when you think chocolate pudding, you may think of that box of powdered pudding mix, but it can work magic when it comes to baking. I'm showing you how in today's Brittany's Bites. Happy National Chocolate Pudding Day. Oh, this day comes with so many possibilities. All I know is that I love chocolate. I do love chocolate pudding, but I thought, what can I do with chocolate pudding? And you know what? These little box mixes are so great at jazzing up a cake recipe or a cookie recipe. It's a little secret why some things just go a little bit above when you try a cake or a cookie. So I was going back and forth between a cake or a cookie, and I asked our producer, Lenicia, which one would you want? Because I'm gonna bring it into the newsroom, of course, and she picked cake, so cake it is. So we are making a chocolate pudding Bundt cake today, because anytime I get a chance to use my trusty old Bundt pan, I love it. It's so easy and it comes out so cute. So we mentioned jazzing things up, right? So we're gonna start with a boxed cake mix. I promise you, if you just add a few extra ingredients, you don't need to bother making it from scratch. Who do you need to show off to anyway? They'll never know if you don't tell them, right? So it's our little secret. Over here, we've got this, just whatever kind you like, a boxed cake mix. I've already dumped it into our stand mixer. Really, you could even use a bowl and mix this up if you want, but I just find it so much easier. And if I get to use my cute little mixer, I love it. All right, to that, we are gonna add the pudding mix we're talking about. Get one of the bigger packs. I think it's like the smaller ones are 3.4 ounces and the big ones 5.9, something like that, but the bigger box, and make sure it's the instant pudding kind. So I'm gonna add this in. Woo! Puffed right up there. It already smells chocolatey in here, let me tell you. Take off that extra part. And then we're gonna add the ingredients that many of you already have in your pantry. Some oil, some water, and one more little ingredient that is kind of a secret ingredient that I add to almost all of my cakes because it just makes them so much better. That's gonna be sour cream. So it calls for 1 ounce in this recipe, or sorry, 1 cup in this recipe, and that equals 8 ounces. That's what we've got here. From there, we are gonna add a 1/2 cup of hot, warm water, and then 4 eggs that I've already scrambled up a little bit. Put that in there. And then the last thing we're gonna add in is our 1 cup of oil. And I'm gonna use the same little measuring cup that I used for the water. Measure out 1 cup. All right, get that in there. And that does it. That's our entire cake. Well, our entire cake that we're gonna mix up so far, because of course, I can never stop adding things. We're gonna add these chocolate chips, but let's get this going. I'm just gonna mix this up until it's nice and combined, and then we'll go to our last step before the oven. By the way, the oven is preheating at 350 degrees behind me. We've got the cake mix, we've got the chocolate pudding, and now we're gonna put in the chocolate chips. I should call this a triple chocolate pudding cake, but we want about 2 cups of chocolate chips. You know I love the small ones, the mini ones, and this bag will equal up to about 2 cups. So I'm just gonna pour it all in here. Now we're just going to make sure that we fold all of these chocolate chips in and then pour this cake into the Bundt pan. And it's gonna be so chocolatey and good. I hope Lenicia likes it. And for this Bundt pan, it is already a non-stick pan, which is so nice, but you definitely still want to coat it with cooking spray. And a reminder that when you're baking, you do want the baking spray rather than just the plain cooking spray, because it sort of gives a flour layer, so to speak. Otherwise, you could go in and try to get into all these nooks and crannies with a stick of butter or some shortening and then do the little flour dusting. But boy, that just takes forever. And if you miss that one spot, your cake is gonna stick. Okay, I think this is mixed up. Oh boy, it's just full of chocolate chips, let me tell you. So I'm just gonna pour this into our baking pan here and then put it in the oven. And it's gonna bake for about an hour at 350 degrees. Now let's see if I can do this without spilling it everywhere. And you definitely wanna make sure that you're getting it even in there so it bakes evenly. I'm gonna keep going until I get it up to the top here, and then I'll show it to you before I put it in the oven. Okay, I have it all evened out, I think. It just smells incredible. I'm gonna pop it in the oven, and then we're just gonna bring it back out and do one more thing, and your cake is ready. It's really, really a simple cake, easy to make, comes together very quickly. The longest thing it does is bake in the oven. All right, we'll be right back. Okay, our bundt cake is out of the oven. It did bake for about an hour at 350 degrees. I've been cooling it here on the counter for a little bit before we try to flip it. I kind of wanted to give it a try first just to test it out, but I didn't. So we're all gonna find out for the first time together whether this is gonna work. So let's see if I spread it enough and it's non-stick enough. Oh, I think I heard it flop, so that's a good sign. All right. Oh, I love when a good bundt cake comes together. All right, so we could eat it just like this. It smells so nice and chocolatey, but we're gonna make it look a little prettier and add just a little touch of sweetness too. So I just have, really tiny little sieve that I'm going to sprinkle some powdered sugar all around on top here. Okay, just give it a nice little dusting, as much or as little as you want. I think that looks pretty great. And if you brought that out to serve it to some guests at a little gathering, now that we're getting back together more often, they're gonna love this. This is I'm gonna call it my triple chocolate pudding cake. Cheers. Well, remember, if you have a picture of one of my recipes that you've made yourself, I love getting those. Send those to me. Or if you have an idea for a future recipe that I can make for the segment, you can text us at 614-460-3345 or find me on social media.